big boss, less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 20 of the Level 2 official podcast. My name is Keegan. I'm going to be your host, and I am one half of Level 2 Gaming. I'm hanging out with Tom, the other half. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired.
A little tired.
The day we're recording this, every video you see this week, actually, is the week after the 24-hour live stream. So I'm running on... Actually, it's probably the same amount of sleep I normally get, just in a different time of day.
You had a slog, and now you have to be peppy and exciting for the people.
I got my bye. You got your bye.
I did. I have bye. I officially caved.
I have to say, everybody. It was funny how many people bought bye because it was my birthday. Like, I got texts and messages from people from various different parts of the country of like, I bought bye because it's your birthday, or I bought bye because of you today. And I was like, bye, sponsor us.
I volunteer as tribute.
So we even got product placement for you. Bye. Sponsor us. Sponsor not.
Is this good? This is pomegranate.
So
I like
before we go on, because I feel like I need to talk about this. So
sure.
Sarah's at my apartment during the 24-hour live stream, and she tried one. She never had one either, and she's like, "Can I have one?" I was like, "Yeah," because I have 50 in my fridge. That's all. I have like 20, but that's okay.
Yeah, fair man.
Yeah, I have quite a few. And she was looking at it because she's very much a health nut.
Yeah,
fitness
she's
person,
a fitness guru.
Yeah, she was looking at like the ingredients and stuff, and she had some sort of thing with the total carbohydrates or net carbohydrates or something like that. But other than that, she was like, "This is actually pretty good for you." And I was kind of surprised because a lot of times when you get like those healthy drinks, they're fake healthy.
Yeah.
Like, granted, water's the best thing to drink in general because it doesn't
taste
water.
Good. Though.
Yeah, that's why I like
St.
this.
Louis. I can't speak to everywhere else, but
yeah, it's really weird though because people like this one's 6% juice, this one's 2% juice. People are like, is it like juice? I'm like, it's like flavored water.
It's kind of juice. Yeah.
I mean, it's got a juice.
It's a mixture between flavored water and juice.
But it's definitely. My
wife tried it. She said it's juice.
Yeah. See, I don't think it. I think juice is sweeter, personally.
Fair enough.
But that's bye. You should sponsor us.
Bye.
But anyways, what have you been doing? It's actually been a couple weeks since podcast. A week since podcast.
Been a hot minute. Yeah. So I've not really been doing a whole lot as far as gaming goes. There was one game that I picked up that I'm excited about. This is Guitar Hero. You caught me playing it this morning. I was playing some Katy Perry.
I actually caught him with his pants down playing Katy Perry.
Yeah, well, my pants were not down, but he's calling me in my pocket, and I'm playing away some Katy Perry song.
I was like, Tom, I'm here.
I was crushing it, and I'm just like, you can fucking wait, man. I gotta finish.
The question, which song was it? Here.
I don't even know. California Dream or something.
California Girls?
I don't know.
If it's California, it's California Girls.
It's something. I don't even know if it's Katy Perry. I'm just like, it's some female singer. And
all female singers.
There was an Avril Lavigne song in there somewhere.
Avril Lavigne?
Yeah, And so I was like, no, you can wait. So I finished, and then I went to let him in. But I've been having fun with that because I used to love those like peripheral games, the music matching.
I have a story about that.
Go ahead.
I have a couple stories. One, I always have stories, but first one is I used to have like rock band parties at my house because I had the full rock band. I had do you know what the Ion Rocker drum set is?
No.
The legit drum set. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to put it up for you guys to see because I feel like you have to see this to kind of understand how into rock band I was, I guess is going to be the way I'm going to say
Weren't you like a touring drummer for a rock band or some bullshit? Yeah.
Let's see if I can find this picture here. But this, basically, the Ion Rocker, for those of you who don't know, is a electric drum kit that worked for Rock Band. So you can make this a real drum kit, like a real electronic drum kit. So each cymbal. So the problem I have with the two problems I have with like the drum kit that comes with Rock Band. One, I've snapped a couple of those pedals because of plastic. This one is metal.
Getting too wild.
Yeah. Well, I would hit it and I would snap it forward because I'd hit so far up on it, and then you're like trying to like pound it down. I duct tape it for a moment. At one point I had a piece of wood, had some duct tape, and then a piece of wood on top and some more duct tape.
Wow.
It didn't feel good, so I bought this is a metal pedal. The problem I have with this pedal though, two things. One, the kick pedal itself would stick after time because it wouldn't quite line up center, so like you had to like pry it up sometimes with your foot. So middle song you're like,
that's not useful. Yeah.
Hashtag rock band or rock drummer issues. It's true in real life though. I've done that with a real pedal where like it'll get stuck and like I just gotta pry this up and go. I play drums in real life. Fun fact. But But yeah, I had that drum set. I think it was $150 at the time, and I played the crap out of Rock Band. Second story, you spoiled it, but I used to be playing competitions. I used to be on stages, and instead, essentially, the way it works is picture like a stage with musicians. You know how normally, I mean, you've done music. You know monitors, how they have the monitors usually in the front.
I'm aware.
Those monitors, for those of you who don't know, for the band, they usually want to hear themselves. A lot of your big bands will have what are called in-ear monitors, which are exactly what they sound like. They're the plugs that go in their ears. If you ever see the little weird cast things hanging out, that's so they can hear themselves and cues of what's going on, and or potentially managers or sound guy or whatever it may be, so they can hear in a loud environment. If you aren't big like that and don't get custom ones, they have speakers that play back to you. And the way we did a lot of these venues was instead of having speakers, they were TV screens because you're playing the song. So you always had, most of the venues always had the monitors here with the TV screen. The drummer, usually had one set up like on a stand over here, like a mini monitor. And then you had I call it the main screen at the back of the hall or somewhere in the middle of the hall. So when you're looking at the crowd, the singer knew where to look because you have the guitar players.
I have questions.
I have answers.
Okay, so for a start, who goes to see a band that is playing a video game as opposed to a real band? What was the fan base?
A lot was middle schoolers, and a lot of it was your nerdy kids. It was people who played Rock Band. So think of it like an esport. So you love a game a lot, and somebody's really good at the game. You're impressed by when you watch somebody play that game, essentially. So that's what I kind of look at it as, is like maybe technically like an early esport where it's like
people would come to see your prowess as a group.
Yeah, I was ranked at one point very high in the world. I was ranked, I think the highest I ever got ranked was 32. I averaged around, and when I say ranked, each song has its own ranking, but I averaged around like the 60 to 100 area on most songs. I know so
you're a serious rock band drummer.
Yeah, I would break sticks. I would keep going. It was insane. Like, we had our crew.
I played it in living rooms, but never in front of a live audience.
Dude, it's weird playing in front of a live audience.
I imagine so.
So the way it works for a lot of the festivals, a lot of the gigs, a lot of the whatever you call them, the performances were judged on three things. They were judged on how accurately you played the song, so that's fair because you have to get it right. You're judged on your stage presence, and you're judged on your set list. So the variety and how you decide to put what song when.
You got to at least choose what you had to play.
Yes.
You didn't just play the game through vanilla.
No, you choose your set list.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons you were talking about earlier. We were talking earlier before we recorded with the new Guitar Hero. I don't like they don't give you the set list option because I loved going through. So what we would do, and a set was 6 songs. Like you'd play 6 songs because you had to get other bands on and go. But what we would do is we'd always start off with some super heavy, energetic. Usually it was like an arena rock style song to get everybody excited. You play 1 or 2 of those. You then would go in the middle and pick like a slower, maybe acoustic-y song to have like that middle like lull of like, okay, I'm chill. And then you fucking smack them with some metal song at the end and you go crazy. We started, the first song we used to start out with, and you're going to judge me for this, but this is part of the reason I love Hinder.
Hinder?
Hinder.
Okay.
So there is a song called Use It by Hinder that is on, I think it's Rock Band 2 or 3. Can't remember. I have over like, I think at this point I have close to 600 songs in the catalog, maybe larger.
Quite a lot, but nowhere close to that.
But we start off with that song, and again, you get paid or you get judged based on showmanship. And one of the things I would do, I'd be on my drum throne. We'd always have a step behind me, so my singer when we'd start. And again, I have the Ion Rocker, so my cymbals are up here. So we're talking probably, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 inches above my head. My singer I would come out first on the set, sit down, get everybody excited, go woo, cheer, woo. Guitar players would come out, bass player would come out, and then we'd start the song without the singer on stage for Hinder because it starts off with a and it goes do 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 do, and then the vocals would come in. But as we were playing before the vocals would come in, the singer would come running from backstage, step on the step, jump up and over me, and hopefully land in front of me.
Did that ever not work?
Yeah, there's been a few times. There's more times he'd hit me in the back of the head than he would hit the kit.
Maybe he did it on purpose. You ever think that?
Probably.
There
was one time where he didn't make it, and I was he crashed, and I got smart because I have sandbags on mine because momentum. Because when I play, I hit pretty hard. I'm surprised I didn't break the damn cymbals, but he hit it and it was going to go forward. But since I had the sandbags on, it didn't go forward. So I'm playing with this dude in my lap. He's still singing. Like, we're still going because the show must go on. But yeah, it was an adventure.
It reminds me almost a little bit of, I used to watch these documentaries on people that did like air guitar festivals.
Same concept.
Yeah, like, it's just
Same
kind of like how you look when you're playing guitar, your song choice, and your fashion sense and stuff is obviously the bigger part of it than actually.
We were the most mismatched group, like looking wise, like appearance. I was the emo kid. I had this.
Did you have a name?
No, you didn't
have a name for your pretend band? Or you did have one and you don't want to share it?
We called it Keegan's Basement because that's where we played.
Okay,
like,
Keegan's Basement.
That's what we called it.
I mean, there's worse band names.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It wasn't really a name. That's just like when somebody asked, like, we were Keegan's Basement because that's where we all played. But if you look at the group, so it was me. I was definitely emo kid. I had the skinny jeans, the tight band t-shirts, like the Vans flat shoes.
So did you actually like dress up for stage?
No,
stuff?
this was just
this is your day to day.
Some people did.
You were just an emo kid.
I would play it up a little bit more. But that's what I wore every day at the time. Like, when it came to like shirts, I would make sure I wore like a black. Like, I had a. Do you remember Aiden, the band Aiden?
I do.
So I have or I don't know if my brother probably has it now. An Aiden T-shirt where there was a dead bird upside down on it, and it was for Nightmare Anatomy, that album. I believe is that album, and I used to wear that to majority of my shows because it was like, this is a underground group that a lot of people don't know about, but the bird imagery I love, like just the death and like, because that's emo. That's what emo was in a nutshell. So you had me on drums. The guitar player, Buckethead, right?
Yeah.
Guitar player was a Buckethead fan, so he'd come out in a Buckethead outfit.
Okay.
So he would dress up. The singer would come out in khakis and a polo, which was quite interesting because again we didn't
the frat boy look. Yeah.
And then I say the bass player, probably the most normal looking guy. He would just come out like jeans and a t-shirt and just play. He was the guy that was like, yep.
So you had an emo guy on drums, Buckethead on guitar, a frat boy singing, and then just like your average Joe, like someone's dad
playing
on bass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And
Keegan's Basement, everyone.
We did really well. We won.
So can I find footage in any size, shape, or form of you doing this anywhere in the world?
Probably not, because of copyright.
Okay.
That's my only thinking. I know, like, some of the venues, I call them venues, they were high schools, middle schools, whatever.
How old are these kids that you were playing to?
They were middle school.
What the fuck is middle school? I'm English. I don't know what that means.
So you graduate high school when you're 18, 14, 13? Like 11 to 13? So like
rocking them 13-year-olds' socks off, huh?
Dude, yeah. It was crazy. But no, they so the venues a lot of times would record you, and you could get a copy or whatever it may be, but this is before they would, like, this is before you could really.
I mean, it's kind of the same. If you're doing it live only, it's kind of the same as a famous band covering another band.
Yeah.
It doesn't unless you're recording it and making money off of it afterwards, it doesn't matter.
Point. Yeah. So like some of the people, and I'm sure there's phone recordings and all that out there, but
I want to see it. If you have some middle schooler in America right now has footage of Keegan being a rock.
Well, he's not in middle school anymore.
Rock band drummer.
He's probably in college.
God, I guess. So let's see it, please.
So
send it to the channel.
So
Tom at level2gamers.com. Personally, I want to see it first. Then I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to post it.
Do you know the song "Dirty Little Secret" from All American Rejects?
Yeah.
I
know the song.
So what I would do, because I don't have to come into the boom 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 part. That's officially that's
I got it.
That's drummer speak. So because you have the guitar intro, the
yeah,
when that comes in, and then boom. So what I would do, and I would be standing up. I can't stand up. I don't stand up, so I'm not afraid. But I would stand up at my kit and have my sticks and go boom boom. Or no, it would be crack, and then I'd sit down on the crack, like I'd crack the cymbal and sit.
So you had to dance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I have to show you some videos of some bands I used to love growing up. I
don't want to see videos of the band. I want to see a video of you pretending to be in a band. That's the greatest thing.
The scariest moment, this is when shit would get real, but all the rock band microphones are wired. Like, you'd have extension, so it's a USB microphone, but they would have like 50-foot extensions on it, so you could roam around and do whatever you want to do. And Will, the singer, would go out into the state or go out into the audience sometimes with some songs, and part of it is, so the scene, what they don't want you to like obviously have the audience participate because you're judged based on how well you do the song. So if you go to our audience participation, it's more of like getting them wave, all this kind of stuff. We had lights, by the way. That was we were the cool band that had like the flashing lights.
Wow.
We
strobes.
Yeah, Will had some in his basement. We're like, this would look awesome.
Had to post an epilepsy warning before each set.
Didn't look awesome.
Yeah.
But Will would be out in the crowd, and there's one time he's out in the crowd. And they lift him like this is legit concert. They're like lifting him up like he's crowd surfing, and somebody unplugs the mic. Like he pulls it, and the mic gets unplugged, so he's not going. The game obviously is going to start failing because of that. So you see Bruce, the Buckethead, the guitar player, is like he's like we're failing. Like we're all looking like why are we failing? Why like because I can't hear him because he's out in the crowd. He's screaming whatever he's doing his singing thing. Can't hear him, but you can see the vocals are failing, And I'm looking, like, trying to figure out, like, what's going on. Like, I look at him, like, is there anything, like, happening out there? The system is off stage to my right. I can see everything being the drum of the bag of tape. So the system's off to the right. Everything's plugged in there. Everything looks like it's fine. And then I look down, and I see right on the edge of the stage that it's been unplugged because it got pulled apart. And
how do you recover from that?
This is how you do it. So Buckethead is over here, and he's playing along. We're, again, at this point, we know something's up. We're still playing because you got to keep playing, but we're trying to solve the problem. And I see what the problem is, and I grab a stick out of my stick bag to get it ready because I chuck the stick at Buckethead to go pick it up.
To go pick up the cable?
To go put the cable back together. So I hit him to get his attention. I go cable. So like I was waiting because it screwed him up obviously because he had to stop playing. But I hit him and I hit a cymbal crush and I go back to play. And he understood this. He understood what that meant, apparently. And he got it. He's like, oh. And we fixed it, and we were fine. And we ended up getting, 4 stars on that song, which kind of sucked out of 5.
Well, I mean, it's not bad for not being able to sing for like half of it. And then,
well, it was, we didn't have vocals for probably
so did you do like...
Probably about 45 seconds.
When you were playing the songs, were you playing them on normal, or are you playing them on like mega hard?
You play on the highest difficulty. Well, it depends. So they have, the way it works is you have like category levels. So... obviously to ego you want to play on the hardest because you get the most money, you get all that kind of stuff. So they had like the middle school arena is what I'd call it, was the people that played on, you couldn't play on easy. You were not allowed to play on easy. You play medium, hard, or challenging, I think was whatever the highest one was. I can't remember what it was. Godlike, I called it, because the fucking guitar player's like... I
was gonna say, like,
do that.
I've seen people do, like, through the fire and flames or whatever, and, like, that stuff is insane to me.
Yeah. It's
you can pull that off.
That's Guitar Hero, but yeah. But we were in the top bracket. We were in the one we would always play it on the hardest difficulty, and what essentially happened with it is you'd pick songs that people knew how to play, and you'd memorize those songs. So, like, I could probably guarantee you right now, if I heard All American Rejects, I could come in and play that whole song without even looking at my screen.
Really?
Yeah, you memorize it because it's all motion, and then
maybe we should look at getting Rock Band. Then that might be interesting.
Then you add flair to it and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's like I couldn't play on the original kit because I hate that kit.
We'll have to buy you one of them fancy ones.
One of those fancy ones. Yeah. But the reason I hate the original kit is because everything's down here. So, like, your hi-hat's here, and it's like it's not a natural feel. It's not. It wasn't good enough for me, Tom. It's too fancy for it.
Put the Ion drum set on my rider.
Yes.
Thank
you. I even bought extra cymbals and stuff. Like,
I don't know. I always have fun with them, but I never took it that seriously. I did have a ton of.
Did you ever look at yourself on the leaderboard?
No.
Oh. So they had.
I'm not competitive like you. I don't give a shit.
They had a leaderboard.
I play it for this thing called fun, and
the band.
No, not the band. The emotion that you get from playing a song that you like. That's why I do it. Not for the fame and adoration of middle schoolers.
Well, I did a lot, honestly, for the gift cards. Like, you would win. Because they're sponsored by GameStop and all this kind of stuff.
So you get prizes.
Yeah, there's prizes for it.
Well, now it's intrigued me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if I calculated my total earnings, total winnings
and gift cards
from majority was gift cards. There's cash prizes. There's different things. Probably close to 5,000.
Wow.
Over a span of.
Heard it here first.
2 years.
Keegan's Basement.
Just go look them up.
Back to what I've been doing. Guitar Hero. It's fun.
You're supposed to drink.
Dead air.
Yeah, you're supposed to drink
So
before you start talking.
I know.
I can. Don't
it's
worry.
really
I can feel the
tasty
dead air.
though.
It is. Which one you got?
Pomegranate.
That's pretty good.
I
I got
used to
dragon
smoke
fruit.
pomegranate on my thing, so it kind of just throwing me back. It's a little harsh on the throat, though. I gotta say, I might dilute it. So Guitar Hero for me is just fun memories. Like I sat down. So
Were you a Guitar Hero? Were you a Guitar Hero or Rock Band?
Rock Band.
Okay.
So
Rock
I
Band
only
was
got
definitely
Guitar
Rock Band.
Hero because I was reading about it.
Superior one.
Yeah, I mean, I like having the full kit and the singing and everything, but I was reading about it, and I could see that, it hadn't, this new one anyway, hadn't done particularly well,
Yes.
and as such was really cheap now to pick up. And I remember I
Neither
was
of them
considering
because there's
it.
a new Rock Band as well that didn't do.
None of them picked up
Neither
the
of
way
them
that
did.
I think people had hoped they would. But I remember originally watching the trailer for the newer Guitar Hero, where they show like the fan interaction stuff.
You got Guitar Hero Live.
Yeah, and okay, it was interesting to me, and I kind of thought like, but if I suck and they're yelling at me, I'm gonna get like anxious, and I just don't know if I could deal with that. But then I was reading more about it, just out of interest because I could see that it was cheap, and there's this kind of other part of it, which is a 24/7 channel of music videos that you just hop in and play, and you gain points, and like there's other people playing around the world at the same time, so you're like technically competing against those for the same song. And so I got the game because that sounded cool to me, and it arrived, and then I sort of tell my wife, I'm like, I have to go and set this up. It's important, and it's super important. But I just really wanted to try it because they look cool. So it took me forever. Let's just say that to get it set up.
Why?
Probably my guitar wouldn't connect, and I was having problems
Wireless.
with it. It is wireless.
Yeah, we always did. See, I always
Bluetooth.
did. We always did wire. You could buy the wireless Guitar Hero guitars, and we had played those at home.
Well, it's
But
a
whenever we did gig-
dongle that you plug
Yeah.
into the USB, and then there's a button, but they just wouldn't like see each other. And I think it was something to do with the batteries. I swapped the batteries around, and it
Like I
kind
said,
of working.
whenever we did a gig, we'd always have wired for that reason until it comes unplugged.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But anyway, the intro caught me off guard because they do a tutorial, and the tutorial is like right into it. Like it's this, you're talking to this like big roadie dude in the back, and he's just like, okay, give me a couple of E's or whatever. You're like, bing, bing. All right, this is okay. And then you start like learning about like bar chords and stuff, and you're like, okay, it's getting slightly more complicated. And then literally it's like, okay, you're good to go. Go on stage. You go on stage, and I'm thinking, I'm just gonna play one song and then give it a rest. And it's like a set. So I'm like, well, fuck, I'm down here for at least 20 minutes now.
You're like, I'm in this now.
Yeah, I'm in it to win it. So I go through and I finish the set, and the songs or whatever. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the music choices.
Yeah, that was my issue. I think because I looked at buying it, but I think the songs choice that they had was not very good.
No, not in the
for this
main game, which it makes me sad that they're not releasing like ones you can buy because I haven't seen any.
They have some.
They do?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that.
They have some, but the way they're
you
doing
can
it,
subscribe to premium channels and stuff. Yeah,
that's the other downfall.
I don't really want to subscribe to anything, but I switched over to the channel thing, and I was just thinking to myself, well, this one, maybe this one's better because I didn't like the whole crowd yelling at me thing. And the first song that came on was some ZZ Top song about matchboxes, and I can't remember how it goes, but it was fucking amazing.
ZZ Top
and
fan.
ZZ Top, they're like pretty chuggy.
They're sharp dress band. That's all I know about them.
So I was rocking out to ZZ Top by myself down here. And the next thing I know, it's been like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. My wife's texting me like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm so into it right now.
ZZ Top.
It does get to me, and I do get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And as you know, I own SingStar, and I also enjoy playing that too. I don't play SingStar by myself. I'll play that with other people. Guitar Hero, I'll play by myself. And the puppies, of course, loved it. They were all over that fucking guitar. And so that was kind of the one game that I've purchased for myself recently. I did pick up two more that I haven't touched yet. Hitman hit a 30% off sale. It was a vote for this or vote for that. The PlayStation's been doing a lot of those recently, and the winner of the vote was Hitman. It was that versus Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 or something. And I was just like, I was grateful that it was Hitman because Jordan's been yelling at me for ages. Pick up Hitman, it's amazing. Pick up Hitman, and I love the Hitman game. So I was just waiting for a good sale.
I watched Jacksepticeye play a few of them.
They're fun
good.
to me. I just like stealth games like that.
I'm not stealthy.
And it was half off, so I'm like $30. Yep, I can do that. And then
where could one find these sales, Tom?
In the bargain basement
Shameless
that
plug.
you can tune in tomorrow to see more of. And The other game that I picked up was this morning, as of recording, which was Danganronpa 1 and 2, which they just got re-released for the PS4. Now, I don't know hardly anything about Danganronpa, other than it looks mental, and it's kind of like a classroom trial thing. And I just like the idea of doing like Sherlock games. Like I just bought Sherlock the Devil's Daughter on sale as well, and so I love those type of games. So to me, it's like it's a crazy ass Japanese version of one of those games, and I'm totally down for that. But I haven't played either of those yet, so they're on my back burner list. But I did get a 4 fucking terabyte hard drive for my.
I have a 3 terabyte hard drive, but it's not connecting to my PS4 for some reason. So I got to figure that one out.
You got to reformat it.
I'm gonna ask you how.
It should
offer.
I tried. Yeah, it should.
It doesn't. No, the PS4 doesn't even see it.
Yeah, I think you have to do it from the PS4. I might be wrong.
Yeah,
when I plugged it in, it was just like, do you want to reformat
But I'm
this
assuming
sucker?
yours was formatted for PC, so I'm assuming it's because it's formatted
Well, mine was just out of the box.
That's what I'm saying, so it's probably formatted for PC.
Could be that, yeah. Maybe you have to make it NTFS.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really easy to do the formatting. If you haven't tried it yet, I really recommend it. So I went to Costco and picked one up for like $120, $130. It was a 4 terabyte.
There's an 8 terabyte for $200 on Amazon right now.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because 8 terabytes is your top out.
Yeah, as I say, can't be over 8. It has to be over 256, can't be more
I
than
would
8.
Consider swapping up to an 8, honestly, because I'm enjoying the fuck out of it, because I literally could go in then and download every game I've ever purchased to this external hard drive, which means I never have to download a game again because it's already going to be there.
And it has to be USB 3. So I feel like
it does have to be USB 3. Yeah. So I would say if you can, get yourself a nice external hard drive and bump up that PlayStation storage, because we've argued physical versus digital for many moons now.
Digital's the way to go.
And even though a part of me still really digs physical, because shops like GameStop have completely separate sales to the ones that the store has, but the store has so fucking many sales, as you know from watching our show, Barker Basement tomorrow, that we find it really, really hard not to want to dive in and just pick up all those $5 games. Yeah, and you don't have to leave the couch, and this is just laziness. It's laziness. That's all it is. It's just I don't want to go and swap discs.
I'm waiting for the day.
So, yeah.
I watched a video today based on, it was physical versus digital, and why digital games cost the same as physical games. And that's because they have to... Publishers and Microsoft and everybody in general has to make sure that the physical retailers are happy, because who's going to sell their hardware? Physical retailers. You can't digitally sell a piece of hardware.
You know what else is interesting is with kind of digital games, though, this is a downside to digital games. They don't tend to drop in price over time. No. They have sales, but those games will be $60 forever.
Yep.
So like when you're at GameStop, every couple months they're like, okay, this game is only worth like 50 or 30 or whatever now. So they actually will gradually drop the price of a game over time, but they don't do that digitally. So that's one downside of it. But either way, get yourself a fucking hard drive. It's worth it.
Yeah.
TV-wise, I've just been watching a documentary about the making of Aliens.
Cool.
It's called Superior Firepower, and it's awesome.
Like making aliens?
So the second Alien movie, Aliens.
Oh, I see what you... Okay, I was thinking like aliens, like the creature.
Not like ancient aliens.
I was like, wait, they made aliens?
Aliens. No, it's not ancient aliens. The second Aliens movie, which was... Well, the second Alien movie that was called Aliens... They could have just called it Alien 2. It would have made everyone's lives easier. And it's called Aliens because there are multiple aliens.
Spoiler alert.
Done, but yeah, in case you haven't seen it, it's James Cameron directing, and it's just kind of about all of the difficulties and stuff that they faced on set in the making of that movie, and just had like the English cast, like they had an English not cast, crew member, and every being English, every day around 5 p.m. they would have a tea break, and James Cameron's kind of a notorious prick for directing as being like, no, you do this way and you do it now, and they say that he's like that because he fucking knows everything, so you can't you can't slip anything by him. And every fucking 5 p.m. they're on this crazy tight schedule. The English guys would be like, all right, tea break, fuck you guys. They'd go out, they'd have some tea, and he apparently hated them because of this. So there was all this tension on set. So yeah, it's a really interesting documentary. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Superior Firepower, and that's about one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Aliens. But you?
Well, I play 24 hours of video games. Where do I start?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've not had a game. Elder Scrolls has been the game that I've been playing a lot again because of the housing update and because of it had been a while since I played that game. Division had the update. I hopped back in there for a little bit, tried the incursion.
How was that?
Got my butt kicked. Hard as usual. But I also feel like I need to have friends to do it again because I was playing with randoms, and one of the randoms was good. Me and him were talking, but the other two guys were quiet, and you're like, put the fucking health bag down, please. Like, come on. Don't do that one, do this one. Like, let's get this guy. And the guy who was on mic with me was like, this fucking prick needs to stop this. I was like, I agree. He needs to figure it out. We had like 4 people switch in and out, and it just sucked. I want to play. I really want to play, and I haven't started it yet. I pre-ordered it, and I have not played it. It was Wildlands.
Oh, yeah.
I have that game. It's on my hard drive.
It's not touched.
It wasn't installed. I went to go play during the 24-hour stream, and I thought I pre-installed it, but apparently I didn't. So, I obviously, when you're streaming, your download rates are stupid slow. So, I didn't get that done. It installed this morning at 12:45 a.m.
There you go. At least you have it now.
Yeah. So, I got it now. But, yeah, I'm going to play the game at some point. Brian said he's probably going to pick it up. David's probably going to pick it up. James wants to play with me.
I'm on the fence. I think I might pick it up when it's cheaper, but I think I'll rely on your opinion at a later date.
I can tell you what my opinions are on it.
You haven't played the full game yet, though.
No, but I can tell you basically what it's going to be, because I feel like all the reviews I've been reading are the same thing I've been saying, where the gameplay is fun. It's way better with friends. You can play it by yourself, but it's way better with friends.
More so than the Division, from what I hear. They say that like Division is easier to play solo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because this was a game that's touted you could play solo or with your friends. The longevity of the game is in repetitiveness of the game. I've heard the game loop is not as fun as Division.
Yeah, I'm not down for that.
As you know, I put 300 hours into Division.
To be honest with you, the first time I saw the trailer for it, I was not hugely impressed.
I wasn't either. But
it wasn't until the beta came out and everyone's like, "Oh, it's actually pretty fun." And
yeah,
I was like,
I enjoyed it. I like. So what I like about it is, unlike the Division, what the Division does really well is it does the characterization of the people. Like, the characters feel like they're actually somebody. So you have Joe Farrow, you have the Rikers, you have the Cleaners, you have I'm missing somebody. Can't think of who the other one is right now. But you have the 3 factions that all feel different, but they also feel like they have a personality. From the beta, and again, I've not played the whole game, as you said, but from the beta, it feels like I'm just shooting a nameless enemy a lot of the time until I get to the boss, and then the only experience I've had with the boss was in the first, in the closed beta, which was the first world you're dropped into, and I beat him relatively easily, so it's kind of like, well...
That is the first boss.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I still feel like it should be somewhat of a struggle to...
Yeah, a little bit of a challenge.
So we'll see. Like I said, I've got it. I'm going to play it. And that might be one of those games that like I'll pick up, because they have provinces and the map's huge. So I might just do like play for a province for like 2 or 3 weeks, get out of it, play something else, go back in, because I still have For Honor I want to play more. Ukulele's coming out here in like 3 weeks.
Like, Mass Effect's going to do me in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to play that game. I haven't yet, but when it comes to what I'm currently playing, it's Elder Scrolls. I'm playing a lot of NBA 2K. I made an expansion team for St. Louis, the St. Louis Spirits, which, fun fact, used to be an ABA team back in the day. But
what's ABA? Amateur Basketball
American.
Association? Oh, okay.
So, yeah, National and American. So they merged together years ago. And
what's the difference?
They're just 2 different leagues.
Oh, okay.
So it
one clearly doing better than the other.
Well, they merged. The ABA is no longer... The ABA and NBA merged together.
I know nothing of these things.
Yeah, they merged together.
Tell me these things.
So what happened, though, when they merged was St. Louis lost their team. And there's a St. Louis and sports teams has a really bad history. But there's a really interesting video documentary, I think ESPN did or somebody like that, where it talks about why they lost it and how the owner was promised when the merge happened they would keep a team. Then the merge happened and the NBA had all the power and said, we don't need you.
Yeah, we just got fucked out of all of our sports teams.
Yeah.
It is
I think the Cardinals...
Might get an MLS team, though, so I'm happy about that.
Cardinals are here to stay.
Oh, they're not going anywhere. Blues.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been playing 2K. I have Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade on my team and Chris Dunn. You don't know who those people are, but people who watch sports will know. I got Dirk and Dwayne and the free agency.
Our fans don't watch sports.
And drafted Chris Dunn. So
yeah. I'm
currently 6-0, defeated a team by 100 on the 24 live team. TV, Tough Puppy.
Tough Puppy?
That's it. It's from the same people who made Fairly Odd Parents. I can't remember if I talked about it last week or not.
Oh, yeah, you did mention it briefly but
I'm still going through. I have 60-something episodes left of 130.
It's quite a long show, then.
Yeah, it's got...
how long are the individual segments? Like, how long is it?
They're 11-minute episodes. There's 2 11-minute episodes per...
So it's like Invader Zim type thing?
Yeah. So they're 11-minute episodes for it. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I've been watching that. That's pretty much been it. I'm college basketball. It's heading into March Madness. I've been watching a lot of college basketball.
Don't fucking feel like March.
I know, right? It's snowing.
Snow.
I mean, it used to snow in Canada when I was there during my birthday.
Yeah, but like I feel like we just didn't get a winter, and now it's like March, and it's like
we're here.
Give you a little bit of a winter, just to make your life difficult and kill your plants.
When everybody left during the live stream, people were like, "Oh," because I knew it was gonna snow, and I was like, but I was assuming like a dusting, like it wouldn't be there when I woke up. I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
it was actually snow,
big time snow."
It didn't stick to the roads; it stuck to the cars and everything else.
Okay, so let's move on to the bonus level. Which is, it's a weird question. It's one that we were kind of considering very briefly before we went live, which is kind of, how do you feel about the inclusion of trailers and or demos for games in the store?
Digital games, yeah.
Yes. So one of the things that
would be weird to watch a trailer in a physical, like,
I mean, it would be.
Look at the box and you like scan QR code or something.
That's the future. Is being able to see moving pictures on the back of the physical box.
You know what the future is? There's no physical box.
Wow.
That's the future.
But when you're on the store and you're going, as you know, before our show every week, we'll go on the store and we'll dig around and we'll see what's new and get your sales for Bargain Basement and everything. And this kind of question is born out of a different question, which was one raised from our PSVR, which is they believe that every PSVR game deserves or should have a demo of some kind, mostly because, the motion sickness and the nausea is such a big kind of overpowering problem with some games that you could drop $30 to $60 on a game and physically not be able to play it. So having a demo of every game is almost a necessity for VR, so that before you place your money. But then we were talking about how like we'll be looking through at new games and stuff, and there'll be a game that like strikes our eyes, like the not Paragon, the other one, Paradigm, I don't know.
Paladins,
that one. Paladins. And he was telling me, Paladins looks really, really good. I heard really good things. So like, cool, let's check out the trailer. Fucking nothing. So, I hate going into the PSN store and having no trailer, or even worse, having like a snippet of like a cinematic and calling it a trailer, or a snippet of gameplay that lasts 10 seconds and calling it a trailer. That's not a trailer.
See, I'm cool with that if it's a story thing.
It's
a story trailer.
If it's a cinematic story trailer, yes. But if it's just like a random 30 seconds of gameplay, that's better than nothing. But it's still shitty.
So my opinion on this, there's two types of trailers in the world. There are cinematic trailers,
good trailers, and bad trailers.
No. Well, yeah, but there's cinematic trailers and there's gameplay trailers.
Yeah.
I'm okay with cinematic trailers for like early on in the cycle. Maybe you don't have gameplay ready to go, whatever it may be.
I think it depends on the game.
And I'm cool with them when it's up on the store having the cinematic trailer. I prefer a gameplay trailer because it shows you what you're getting. I think what they should do is, if they have both, do both.
Yeah. If
you can only do one, do gameplay. Because I think something like The Division, I was more interested in the cinematic trailer than I was the gameplay trailer, because the cinematic trailer told me the story, showed me what I was going to do, and I was like, this is a cool concept. Obviously, the gameplay trailer is kind of what sold me on the concept in the end, but
I prefer when they're both in the same trailer. I want to see story cinematics mixed in with actual gameplay, and the more seamless you can make it, the more I'm going to dig your game, probably. Because if you can show that something as high quality as a cinematic for a game can almost be indistinguishable from the gameplay for that game, then
But if you're not able to do that, then it would go the other direction. You're like,
well, that's what I'm saying. If you're not able to do it, then it's a shitty trailer, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that they always have to be like just cinema they always have to be both. I think it's okay to have just cinema and just gameplay as well even, but I think that the best trailers are ones that split in cinematics and story with gameplay, so that you get a little taste of both within the same minute and a half. Because trailers as well, like trailers for games are different for trailers for movies, because when you watch a trailer for a movie, you kind of want to see as less as possible, but enough to keep you excited, because the worst thing, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me here, the worst thing you can possibly do is have a trailer that gives away the entire fucking movie, and you're just like, well, great, now I've just seen that movie. Games are so much longer, it's almost impossible to give away the entire game in a trailer.
And most trailers happen, anything you see is usually the first hour, 2 hours of the game.
Right. So let's make trailers like that benefit the length of the game, because a lot of the times trailers for games are shorter than trailers for movies. They're like 30 seconds to a minute as opposed to
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. So for a gameplay trailer, the thing you want, 9 times out of 10, that is something they have to build separately. That is not something they can just pull from the game, because the game may not be done when they have to make the trailer.
Well, then it's not a trailer, it's a teaser.
That's not true.
I think if the game has to be in some level close to completion before you should even release a goddamn trailer for the thing. If it's on we're talking about the store, remember? So if it's on the store, there should be a fucking trailer.
But they tend to use the same trailers that they do like E3 or something like that. So those they build 9 times out of 10 they build that specifically for that purpose.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that design the trailer before they even design the game, but at the same time, you need even if you can't do it right away, at some point it has to happen. By the time it's at the store, it should be done. I don't mind them doing like a non-gameplay trailer, like as trailer number 1 or even trailer number 2. But by the time you're like your third, fourth, final trailer, and you're ready to go live, then I expect to see more, and not either no trailer whatsoever accompanied.
I don't think it should be no trailer,
or a trailer that's just like some bullshit 30-second segment that hasn't had any thought put into it whatsoever. By the time it goes like live-o for people, this is your pitch. That's your elevator pitch to the consumer who may know nothing about your game to buy it. Do you have any idea how many games I've bought based off the trailer alone? Just there's like even random little indie things like Firewatch and Knee Deep and stuff that Oxenfree, I would have totally skipped over those if it wasn't for the fact that these trailers for these games sparked my interest and made me go, holy shit, like that was not on my radar, but right now I'm like, I have to play that game. And I think they do themselves a disservice, and they definitely do us a disservice when there's not a somewhat coherent example of what you're getting into by the time it hits the store.
So I'm going to go with cinematic trailer, because gameplay trailer, I'm very, to me, that's a bonus. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that is a requirement to be in the store to have a gameplay trailer. Would it be preferred? Yes. Hands down. The other thing you have, if you think of the store, though, for gameplay-wise, you do have, when you're in the store and you look underneath, you have the ability to then go to the social media links and everything that they've got.
Yeah.
So you could view the gameplay there. Granted, somebody has to have the game to do that.
It's more hassle because the PlayStation Store just auto plays them.
Yeah.
So literally, if you want to watch a trailer for a game on that store, you select the game and you wait 10 seconds, and you're in the middle of the trailer already. Yeah. So if I have to go to like a third or a fourth location to dig in and try and, especially using PlayStation UI, to try and find a some smegma of a gameplay. It is what I do like about the PS Store, though, is that they do include game broadcasts.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Is you'd see the game broadcast as the game play.
That stuff's not bad. Yeah.
Versus to me, I would much rather, especially, I'm gonna do it from. It all depends on the game, but I'm gonna do it from a story-driven indie game. So let's say something like Oxenfree or something like what's the one we played the other day, Jotun. If those had cinematic trailers only, and they portrayed the game well enough and told you what's in the game, so Jotun is going to be an isometric 2D style with world bosses that you fight, they present this very well, I have no issue with that. I don't need to see the game because I can tell from the trailer what the art style is going to be. I think if you don't have a gameplay trailer, you have to make your art style fit what the game's going to be. If you don't do that, then it's an issue.
Well, what about the trailer? Because you watched this with me this morning. We watched Too Dark. And Too Dark had a cinematic trailer, no gameplay, but the art style was front and center. But when I watched the actual gameplay, it looked different. It wasn't a whole lot different, but if I was just basing my opinions based off of that trailer, I would have said it looked like almost like a point-and-click action-adventure in a very unique art style, like a Telltale game. And I was saying when we were watching the trailer, this looks like a Telltale game. And then when I watched the gameplay after, it's like a top-down 3D model-based stealth horror game, which has this almost cutesy art style than what was portrayed in the trailer for it. So that was a case of me being completely misled about what a game might.
And that is not a good trailer then, from what it needs to tell you. Even a good cinematic trailer will tell you what it needs to tell you from a gameplay perspective. Whether it's giant words of open world, which I hate that shit.
I don't mind that. Japanese
I don't like
love
it. I hate that. You know why I hate that? It's an easy cop out for what you need to do.
What?
As somebody who edits and has made trailers.
Like, they had that trailer for that Party Golf, which we're going to get into, we got into last week in the bargain basement. Party Golf, like, shows you, it just gives you, like, this is 8-player local co-op. How would you know that it was local co-op if they didn't say it? You would just see 8 golf balls on the screen and say, well, there's multiplayer, but you wouldn't know specifically
P1,
what
P2,
type.
P3, P4?
Well, they didn't have that.
Or have names or whatever.
No,
That's
they're
what I'm
just
saying.
different colored balls.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they, that's how you could do it, though. I'm answering the question of how you would show it. You do stuff like that. Certain things you have to say. I mean, I'm not arguing that point that there's certain things you have to say, like that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking, like, when it comes to like an RPG. Let's use that as an example. A stereotypical RPG where you have an inventory system, you have some sort of currency, and you go explore a world. That's pretty much what an RPG boils down to at its core. You don't have to say, this is an open world game where you have X amount of money to do this. You could show inside of a trailer, use the example of, you could go inside of the trailer and you could show this guy exploring or running around to all these different areas, and you can see, like, maybe armor builds up or something. So there's an upgrade system and all that.
So you can kind of show it in like in a speedy way. Like different armors and stuff.
Yeah. And you could show it without showing gameplay. It could be the cinematic style. So like the Division trailer, one of the things I like, they very, very rarely do gameplay trailers for their DLCs. I don't think they've done one yet that I can remember. And what I like about it, though, is two things. One, during the cinematics, especially with the Division, it adds a little bit more of, like, edge to it. You're like, this is a movie, this is an action game, like, I get what I'm doing, I'm shooting these people, I don't know the specifics of what I'm going to be doing in the game, but I have the overarching thing of, like, this is what this game is. I'm in New York City, something's gone wrong. Obviously the first trailer tells you there's a virus and all that kind of stuff, but, like, the DLC trailers don't say that. Something's gone wrong, I gotta fix it. And I can tell based on that, it's going to be a squad-based shooter. They don't come in and say, this is a squad-based shooter. You can tell there's 4 people on screen running in with guns. Like, there's a way to know that.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, a prime example of how to do it in a cinematic way that works really well.
Without hitting the nail too much on the head and without being like...
Yeah, that's what I think Ubisoft, of all the... For as bad as they do E3 presentations, I think their trailers are fantastic.
They do have pretty good trailers.
So,
Assassin's Creed trailers have always been historically pretty dope.
Yeah, so I think we need to teach them how to do it live. But when it comes to like trailers and presenting stuff, they're really good at it. Like, For Honor was one of those games where I was disinterested in it because of not because of the trailer, but because of the gameplay. The trailer had me intrigued. I was like, what is this? And again, they use cinematic trailer. Elder Scrolls. Most Elder Scrolls trailers are cinematic trailers. They don't do gameplay, from what I've seen.
See, I think that's a missed opportunity. But I mean, it's a personal opinion.
Yeah.
The other thing then, aside from trailers, because this is a build on trailers, is we talked about demo for VR. How about demo for everything?
Every game has to have a demo.
You think so?
And I was very...
That's not happening right now.
No, it used
now
to.
You're lucky to get one at all.
It used to be. So with XBLA, Xbox Live Arcade, as it is known to you young pups who don't know what that is, hopefully you're old enough to know what that is. It's sad if you don't know what that is. That was only a generation ago, but it seems so long ago.
You know what it is, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, but XBLA, one of the requirements when you put something on Xbox Live, and Xbox Live Arcade was the first console digital distribution to do it effectively, and I think they were actually the first one that I know of that did it on a mass scale. I don't know of any other console before them. And that's Microsoft knowing how to do it, because they're fucking Microsoft. Say what you want about the company. They know how to use channels to distribute stuff. So every game had to have a demo. The reason for that being was, like you're saying right now, there's so many games that are like, I'm intrigued, but I want to know a little bit more, or maybe play a little bit to see if I want to spend the money. And to me, a demo, because people are like, well, an indie game's only, 4 hours? How long do I give you? I was like, give me like the first level. It doesn't even have to be that long. Just give me enough that I know what I'm getting.
15 minutes.
Know what I'm getting into. Yeah. I think what it should be is the tutorial plus like a little bit more.
The first part of the first bit of the game.
Yeah. because I'd hate to have it.
Or special demo levels, which I also appreciate as well, when a company will say this is because this is separate. Like, for example, Resident Evil, they released the beginning hour or a beginning hour, and that had ties to the main game, which was smart, but was not. That's not a part of the game at all. Like, you got to experience some of the aspects of the main game without spoiling any of it, and definitely, even though it's called a beginning hour, that is not what happened in the beginning hour. There's portions of it, but I think they did it spectacularly well, because that demo, especially when they updated it, which is a really unique concept of demos and something I love that they do that. They did it for Final Fantasy. They did it for Resident Evil, where every so often they'll update this base demo. And the demo is bigger for that, but that's,
Yeah.
I still think that playing a beginning hour as a standalone experience from Resident Evil 7 is still worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's a different story. There's stuff that happens in there that doesn't happen. But if you can update it like that, and by the time they added VR to the demo, I was just like, okay, fucking get me that game right now, like yesterday. Whereas before, after just seeing the reveal in when we did our E3 stuff, I was intrigued, but I wasn't necessarily like super on board with it. Because Resident Evil has a patchy history. But that demo was like, okay, fucking pre-order now.
And the only again, playing devil's advocate here, is that's a lot more work, and a team that's as big as Resident Evil team can do it. Somebody
for indie games, it's a lot harder.
The Action Verge guy in his basement.
But then a lot of these indie developers are going to these places, are going to these cons, and they have a demo. They have a built demo for you to try out. Even fucking Witcher, when they first did their first ever, the Team CD Projekt Red did their first ever thing of Witcher. If you've ever seen their booth, their booth at like E3 or whatever it was literally just a table, a chair, an old ass PC, and one poster behind it that said Witcher, and you would sit down and play this fucking demo of this Witcher game. And that was just like, and at the time that was an indie game, and that was something that I'm sure was hard to pull off, but they have to do that during development. They have to factor that into how many sales they want, because I would say sales would be increased with a demo.
The problem you have with giving them a con demo is 9 times out of 10 somebody's there to lead that.
Right.
So bugs are a thing, because most demos for E3 for conventions, again, are built separately from the rest of the game. So, from what I'm not a game developer by any stretch of imagination, but I've been watching more and more of like behind the scenes stuff, especially with Danny O'Dwyer doing what he's doing with I think it's No Film, I think is the name of it, where people like, they think a game is built in order. Games are not built in order. You could have the lighting crew doing one thing over here, and you could have the level designers doing something else over here, and at some point they got to merge and hope it works.
Just like movies.
On different systems, and it's just like, it's getting all pieced together. In the end, you hope, because the difference between movies and video games, though, is everything in a video game is some piece of technology. Movies, you have the film, which film is pretty much standard across everything, but then when you have the effects, that's where you have the issues. Video games is all issues that can all come together, and if one thing is wrong, the whole thing could be fucked up completely. So that's the getting the ability to, or having those demos that are on the floor. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of coming through, making sure those bugs are out. So it's because I think a demo at a convention has a different expectation than the demo that's on the store, and I think the demo that's on the store, we should expect it to be more polished, unless they use the quote-unquote beta word, and then we're fine with it, which I think most betas are demos, not betas.
Have you seen like when they have released an E3 demo in the store, though, and how successful they've been? Because a lot of the people that are watching E3,
but if they say it's an E3 demo, then you're fine.
Right.
It's all coming to phrasing. But if you just say
did it
demo,
with God of War, I remember, and like they had the God of War E3 demo, and it was the one that everyone was like super blown away by when they got to see someone else play it. So when they got to have that particular experience all to themselves in their living room, I think that was a really smart marketing move. But yeah, you're right. It takes a lot. I mean, there's the indie game movie. Have you ever seen that? It's like there's 2 of them now, I think. But they talk about
Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy, Fez with Phil Fish, and some other developers.
I didn't know the story behind him. He Yeah, he had
he's an
strong
interesting
opinions.
dude.
He had some strong opinions.
But like you get to see how hard it is for some of these developers to put these things together, and genuinely, like my heart does go out to every indie game developer. It's a lot of work, but I do think as a consumer as well that you almost are doing yourself a disservice by not having some form of taster for your experience. And obviously, I think demo is preferable. If you can't do a demo though, let's at least get the trailer right. Let's have a good cut trailer, if possible, to include gameplay. Or do one gameplay, one cinematic. I mean, but in some instances, the cinematic's just not going to work, and you need to see the gameplay. For indie games, more than AAA's even.
I think it depends on the type of game.
Because a lot of AAA games or AA games, you kind of already know about them. Like, that's the whole thing. They're like a sequel to an existing franchise, or there's something that's been covered a great deal by the video game media. So, like, you already know what you're getting into. Like, Mad Max, for example, was all over for like a year before the game was ever released. It was in Game Informer and stuff. And you could read about it and see what style of game it was. You didn't necessarily have to see the gameplay, and the cinematic would be enough to kind of get people excited.
Here's a question for you, and this is probably a logistical nightmare when it comes to getting this integrated, but you're talking about press getting stuff and doing their impressions and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe integrating links externally to that page. So maybe IGN has an IGN first of it for gameplay. If you want to go check gameplay, click there versus having a gameplay trailer, because then it's on IGN to put that together versus the developer putting it together.
That's true.
So it's making it so the developer can continue to work on the game, fix bugs, whatever it may be in the final game. I'm just thinking, I'm very much thinking of just a workload of making sure everything gets done, because how many games get postponed nowadays because of
they're getting postponed for the right reason though.
Oh, I agree.
You know,
it just sucks when you're like you were talking about today. The store says Bridge Crew should be out today. It's supposed to be out in May, and you're like, it says today. I was like, no, it got delayed to May.
It's weird that it's still showing up in the today section.
Sony just hasn't done it. Pushed it back.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so that's kind of our thoughts on demos, trailers, and how and when those should exist in the store and in what form. We would, of course, always love to hear your opinions on it. Do you miss the days of like having like 7 demos on a disc that comes free with a magazine? You wouldn't even remember those days.
I do.
You do?
Yeah, so talking about demos, one last thing I want to put in there.
God.
So you know Halo.
I do.
I'm assuming you're aware of the game. You know the original Halo. Do you know what demo came on the Halo disc?
No.
No idea. Fusion Frenzy.
I still don't know.
You don't know what Fusion Frenzy is? Picture. No. I'm trying to picture like Overwatch kind of art style with Mario Party style gameplay with like mini games and all that kind of stuff. The mini games were pretty decent. I mean, they're not the level of Mario Party level, but I played that demo with friends because I had multiplayer in the demo and all that kind of stuff. I played that demo with friends. I never ended up buying. I probably should have bought the game, but I played the demo more than anything else because the way it worked was it was a round of the competition. So the round was, I think it was like 5 or 6 games. Granted, they're limited on how many games they have, how many mini games they have, so you're playing the same ones over and over eventually. But I played the crap out of that demo, and it was on the Halo disc, and I was like, good job.
There you go.
So stuff like that, I think demos have their place. I just from a making it standpoint, I know how hard it could be for somebody, especially smaller teams.
And we know
I think every AAA game should have one.
Some developers watch us, so if you have insight into like why maybe you don't make a demo for a game, or why you feel like you have to, or how much kind of time and money you can expect to expend on creating one, that would be really cool information to know too, I think, for both of us. So moving on, you're not going to be here tomorrow or Friday because you're doing other things. You're going to be with me in the gameplay, but during Bargain Basement and Level 2 VR for the week that this podcast goes up, you're going to be absent.
So what Tom's saying is we're pre-recording this, little fun fact.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously. There's certain, like you may have noticed that our schedule has come to a point where we're doing things right up against the wire now, and as such, if
been
one
successful
of us,
doing it.
Yeah, we're doing all right so far, but as such, if we do run into a week where we can't record for whatever reason, then we have to do. We have contingencies.
I got some work stuff I got to do.
Yeah, so he's not going to be with me.
Taking on some work responsibilities.
So one of 2 things is going to happen. Either tomorrow you're going to see just gameplay of a VR game and a regular game for tomorrow and Friday, or if I get off my ass on Tuesday, which will be the day yesterday, then maybe I will record just kind of like a solo version.
I would love to see you try and set this up. We should do a video of Tom setting up.
It will be a hot night. I mean, it's not that bad. It's. I mean,
lighting and all that.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's easier with one person because there's like more space, but we'll find out. So either I'm going to be by myself tomorrow or Friday, and that's going to suck, or it's just going to be gameplay. So either way, sorry, and we'll be back to normal next week for sure. But Keegan needs a break, and he has lots of things to do, and
got responsibilities. I don't need a break. I just got responsibilities.
I feel like you need a break. You're tired right now. I can tell. Yeah, and we're halfway through our recording.
I can't wait to go to work tomorrow for the first time and just talk about it. I'm super proud. I'm going to bring up. We had the podcast last week all about Able Gamers, but I'm super proud of what we did there, and I'm a sleepy boy because of it. But it was really cool.
All right, so we're just about at that hour mark, which I think is a good time to call it. So any last thoughts or feelings or emotional outbursts? No?
I was trying to think of something clever and I couldn't.
Yeah, you're not clever.
Bumblefart Pumpernickel.
There you go. Thanks a lot for listening. If you're at home on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or whatever the heck it is you're listening to us on. If you're watching us on the video, hey, what's up?
You can see my new hat. Those of you listening, I have a red. I still have a Phillies hat, but it's just red this time, not red and blue.
It's all red.
It's all red. Well, it's not white. Got a white P.
We will be with you tomorrow with Bargain Basement, and so thanks a lot for listening, guys, and as always,
welcome to the second level.
Bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.